Palantir CEO Alex Karp defends his company in the midst of a backlash from a New York Times article. Here we go. Now, you might remember we talked a little bit about this on the post-duopoly show. So, we're being surveilled, people, whether you like it or not. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. We're being surveilled, people. And just protect yourselves at all times.
Palantir platform, despite what you might read at the New York Times, is actually the most secure, the hardest platform in the world to manipulate and change. Of course, any technology can be abused. But if you wanted to abuse the technology, if you wanted to use the deep state to unlawfully surveil people, the last platform on the world you would pick is Palantir because of the granular way we segment and put together and the security models and the access control models that are in Foundry natively, not a built-on addendum. And by the way, that focus on civil liberties is making us really rich, which drives the woke, pagan, religious practicing, Neanderthal thinking people who ignore technology absolutely nuts on the right and the left while we're building value. By the way, I asked for permission before I went nuts from our wonderful, slightly conservative and highly substantive partner. And he gave me permission to embarrass him. He didn't realize it'd be this embarrassing.
I think it comes with the territory.
These are my views, not his.
Okay, so Alex, let's get into that. New York Times has an article. Here's the headline. Trump taps Palantir to compile data on Americans. They paint a pretty Orwellian picture of what you and the Trump administration are doing.
I was walking over here. I picked a random engineer, and I said, by the way, we have a contest. Find all the technically absolutely erroneous things in this article in 90 seconds. And I picked a random engineer. I was like, well, how many do you think you could do in 90 seconds? He's like, well, 15, 20. But leaving aside the technical, look, it's probably
wrong.
hard
Is that
for
what you're
them,
saying?
I'm sure. Well, it's not. Well, first of all, on the tech side, it is so ridiculous. I read the New York Times. It's literally like I'm a dyslexic. They might as well be hiring me to do a spelling bee. So, maybe.
See, this is what I'm worried about a lot of these tech billionaires, right? That they're playing around with these AI technologies and there's these surveillance systems and everything else. And they don't know what they're doing, you know? And a lot of these guys are so preoccupied if they could do this. They're not stopping to think if they should do this, right? And we know, thanks to whistleblowers like Edward Snowden, you know, he told us we're being spied in on. He warned us. And since then, it's been amplified. It's now on steroids. And so this is how they get you. Anything you say or do will be used against you by the thought police, the political police, the surveillance police, the all-seeing eye of Sauron. And, you know, there's going to be people who say, well, what about the bad guys? I get it. There are bad guys out there, but who watches the watchers?
They just have friends who are tech bros, but they can't hire on a meritocratic basis. I don't know. So that's up to them. We have a contest. Find all the errors in 90 seconds. I think somebody will find 50 or 60. But the more important thing is we are not surveilling Americans. We are not building a database to surveil. And
do you guys think that's true? Type 1 for yes, Kit. He's telling the truth. Type 2. Why are you asking that question? You know the answer. And I'm being honest here. 1 or 2. Which one's your choice? No, they're not. Being number 1. 2, yes, they are. I'll let you decide. Go ahead. Give us your thoughts. No such thing as a wrong answer.
If you wanted to do that, the last platform in the world you would buy is Palantir. And don't believe me, go look, spend 10 minutes and look at the architecture of our product. 10 minutes. And then see how ridiculous that is. By the way, writing ridiculous shit in a highly charged environment is dangerous. And the New York Times should take responsibility for the danger they're putting out in the world. There really are people who believe that crap.
Well,
they believe that.
One thing that's true, though, is that you have increased your contracts with the government, and that has accelerated
so
under the Trump administration.
Would be, of course, but by the way, even there, a mathematically somewhat moderately literate person would say, okay, well, they're increasing in government by 45%. That's pretty baller. How are they increasing in the U.S. commercial? 71%. Huh. Are we building a database to conspire against our own people in the U.S. commercial context with no sales force? So yeah, we're winning. Yeah, great. You know what? Tell everybody we're winning. We are winning. And by the way, we have a rule of 83 while we do it. Basically means we don't have or have basically a inept sales force, and we're winning. And we know why we're winning.
Okay, so now it seems like, I just want to pause here. You're saying like, okay, his system is, first of all, Business 101. You don't say like, oh yeah, our product sucks, like it can't be used. That's, I mean, for all we know, he could just be saying, yeah, But I want to be clear on this here, folks. Very, 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 very clear. All right. I'll be very clear on this. This system that we have of surveillance, I mean, it's all interconnected. How many times have we seen reports by different news media outlets, independent journalists saying, hey, they got this contract. Hey, they just got this contract with this agency, this institution. It's not really a smart idea in many ways, in my opinion, to start saying, oh no, we're not doing this, when there have been numerous examples of other corporations, entities doing the exact same thing and saying that they're not, when it's found out a few years later down the road that they are, through maybe a third-party app or another thing that's part of the thing that they don't really say. And it's just with the power of AI, what worries me the most with this technology is that when myself, Russell, and Nick on the last post-duopoly show were talking, Russell was dropping some truth bombs that were very, 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 very frightening. And look, I had to agree with it too, because I think the same thing. You have these AI programs that now have the capacity, or could develop the capacity, of blackmail. And either that, once these, again, there's another report of these same AI programs where the designers made it look like the AI was free, and it was manipulating the stock market. It was doing its own thing, and when told to stop, it ignored its human masters. God forbid one day these things actually escape. God forbid one day, one of them gets out. And these surveillance programs that we have, great. Next thing you know, you're minding your business. Perhaps you're taking a dump. You're on the bus. I don't know. You're walking around with that person you love, and all of a sudden you hear on the speakers on your cell phone all around, this is the voice of world control. You think I'm joking? Look, we are living in a time and era where we are harnessing not only the ability of AI to be self-aware, but for AI to actually take over. These are not good things to have lying before us. And a lot of these tech CEOs are so in the super fast rush to be the first one that once they get to the finish line, you must remember, you might be creating a Frankenstein monster.
Because the product is the best in the world. And you know what the Trump administration is actually doing? Every other government in the world is doing, because everyone wants to beat China, who's not China, is buy the best product. What is the best product? They're not buying our product because they like me or they like my speeches. Honestly, he's wondering why he has to buy the product from me too. They buy it because I'm going to make your company really, really financially strong, more secure, more efficient, increase the revenues. Why does the U.S. government buy the product? First of all, it's a product. It's not a waste of time service BS thing that can be abused. By the way, we lost so much revenue in the last 20 years because people wanted to buy things that could be abused. It's really hard to abuse Palantir. You could do services. Who knows what a services company is doing with your data? Or you could do what the New York Times does or Consumer Internet does. You could resell the data and productize your users. By the way, there's a high correlation between productizing your users and selling them woke pagan BS.
It's a good point. What are you doing at the IRS?
You can't get that with Palantir, but you can't.
The IRS was one example.
Yeah, we have so many contracts in the U.S. government. I mean, I'll tell you, without the specifics, I can tell you
What kind of contracts do you have, sir? Sir, an inquiring mind wants to know. I just want to know what kind of contracts do you have? Because that seems like it's kind of important.
Exactly what we're doing in the IRS. We're going to use the most secure platform in the world to replace inept software with cheaper, better software that is more efficient. That's what we're doing. I assume at the IRS we have so many contracts. I know that's what we're doing here. That's what we're doing with 71% of growth. You know what we're doing in the DoD? We're scaring the bejeebers, I'm trying not to use the F word, out of our adversaries by making them scared at night. And you know how we're doing it? By installing productized software that runs algorithms against data that's been lawfully collected. And you can't unlawfully use it in our platform, which is one of the main reasons people buy it and keep it.
All right, Chris, we know.
Now, look, I just want to play a little segment here, okay? Now, look, we all know that Elon Musk and Donald Trump are having a little back and forth. I know I'm bringing up Elon Musk and Donald Trump again, but, remember, Palantir, it's got its hands in a lot of things, right? Just want to play this video here. Just want to play this video here.
In my opinion, Elon Musk bought Twitter for user data much more than he bought it for free speech. And keep in mind that he's a Pentagon and he's a military and intelligence contractor, just like Palantir is. So let's back up for a second. So Palantir deeply tied to the CIA. It decides who goes on the domestic terror watch list or main core for the CIA based on your online activity. That's what Palantir does.
Oh, I'm on it then for sure.
LifeLog you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, hey, listen. Look. We're all being surveilled. It's even you. That's right. So to our NSA, FBI, and CIA handlers, have a beautiful weekend. Have a beautiful life. It's all over. I swear, if I hear this is the voice of world control, I'm just gonna be like, God damn it.
Peter Thiel, at the time he was trying to privatize total information awareness, which was directly related to LifeLog in many ways. He becomes the first the first outside investor in Facebook that made the company what it is today. Yeah.
So Facebook is like a
launched
DARPA.
The same day that LifeLog was shut down, and later went on to hire former DARPA directors like Regina Dugan to run top parts of their enterprise, as well as, people like Sheryl Sandberg, who was like deeply tied up with Larry Summers. And isn't it weird that Larry Summers ends up on the board of like Thiel protege companies like Sam Altman's OpenAI and all these other things? Interesting. But Facebook, what it was doing also was sucking up all of this data. We were freely giving it to them. And this is what, the guy that created LifeLog was like, directly said, Facebook is like what LifeLog was going to be, but people were worried about giving LifeLog data when it was a DARPA program, but now that it's a private company, no one cares. But we know that Facebook and all these other companies have given our data to the government. Even new X policies have said that like your DMs can be given to the government if.
Oh boy. It's all over. It's all good. Hey, listen. They're going to make a digital copy of you. We're all going to be part of that digital surveillance system. They already got you. So remember, who profits off this? Why control people? Because you want to have a system of fear.
There are requests made and things like that. So I think Elon Musk plays both sides. I think he does good cop, bad cop between himself and his CEO, Linda Yaccarino. She'll come out and say something that's unpopular and Elon Musk will say something else. But ultimately, Twitter's policy isn't really that different. And now the people doing identity verification for Twitter, because the goal for Twitter, Elon Musk said at the very beginning, is to verify all humans. So have you verify yourself by linking your government issued ID to your Twitter account. So no more anonymous Twitter accounts, right? And the problem with that is that, they probably know who you are if you're anonymous, but if they don't like what you're saying or they think you might commit a crime or something like that before you do it in this pre-crime paradigm, that they've set up, if they link it to your government ID, that's troubling. And the company now doing it, it used to be an Israeli intelligence connected firm. Now it's Stripe, which I believe is funded by Peter Thiel and some of these other PayPal guys.
And what could go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? Well, I'm not going to say there's nothing that we can't do, but we've been warned. We had our media covered up, and can we stop this boulder from falling down the mountain? No. It's this is going to be forced through, and if it's not Palantir, it's going to be something else. And if it's not already implemented, it has been implemented and we don't know about it, or is that it's just already going on. And see, when you open up this Pandora's box of surveillance, digital ID, security, institutions, and everything else, we fall into the trap of, are we free to speak? Are we free to share ideas? How much of ourselves remain private or anonymous? David Bowie, the Sovereign. If you know Venture Brothers, I love you. Go Team Venture. You know, that clip that Do Dissidents played about the internet, I didn't know it existed. But man, does it scare me now. He was on point. It has the power to do a lot of good and a lot of evil. And I think at this point, we're at the realm of evil. Because now when you have a system of surveillance, power, control, it puts people in line. And there has to be a point to where there has to be a separation between the internet and real life. Because now we're going to be plugged into it. And no, it's not like, oh, we're going to be plugged into the matrix, but the way technology is, the way everything is going to be connected, it is a way to put us into what, 15-minute cities? No freedom to move. There won't be concrete walls, but there'll be digital walls. And so while we can reach anything and see any video, are we forever enslaved? I mean, that's the problem. We've been warned about this. We've been warned about the power of technology and how much we can lose. And this calls into question the future of what we do here for independent media. Are we still going to be around? Or will there be one day, perhaps, it's gone? Or is it at? You might notice something maybe a little different about me. You know, perhaps, hey, is that a digital podcast? Is that an AI version of my favorite podcaster? You never know. But Palantir, you know, and remember at the end of that video that I played, not the one with Jimmy Dore, but the other one from Case Study QB, be sure to follow him. What other contracts do they have? Just because one contract doesn't have surveillance doesn't mean the other one doesn't have. All these tech CEOs, all these tech corporations are involved in it in one form or the other, and we find out about it in a year or 2 years from now. This isn't anything new, but now I wish there was something we could have done to stop it.